Hello everyone! It's a Wednesday, so that means it's time for a brand new video all about that military lifestyle. Thank you guys so very much for your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button below. I really appreciate all of the support. It's a fairly new channel. It's been up for around 3 months now, and I'm just so happy to be bringing you guys information about the military. We're going to talk about all kinds of topics, and in particular, I like to share with you guys stuff that I wish I had known before I had joined, or at least stuff I wish I had known earlier on in my career. So I'm here to help you guys on your military journey. Again, as always, if you have questions, make sure you drop those below. I'm always happy to answer if I can. And now today, we are going to talk about the Space Force. Of course, this is a hot topic throughout the military community because the Space Force is our newest military branch. Now, if you're interested in joining the Space Force and you're curious to know what kind of jobs are available, make sure you click this link right up here because I did a video on these topics not long ago. Now, today, we're going to talk about the fact that the military just announced the Space Force is getting a brand new NCO Academy. And there are all kinds of questions like, where is SpaceCom going to be headquartered at? Is there going to be a Space Force specific basic training? And are there going to be Space Force bases, or are there just going to be Air Force bases with Space Force personnel? We're going to get to all of these questions in this video, so make sure you stick around. And even if you're not interested in joining the Space Force, it's just, good to have this information at hand because, again, it's an exciting time. The military rarely adds brand new branches, so you guys get to tell people, hey, I was alive when they first created the Space Force, so stick around. So the Space Force just announced that it is standing up an NCO Space Force Academy. So if you are a non-commissioned officer in the Space Force, you're going to be going to this NCO Academy. There's not a whole lot of information available yet. However, we do know it's going to be located at Peterson in Colorado. Is it Colorado or Colorado? I'm not from there, so I don't get to tell you guys how to pronounce it. But if you are from there or you know someone that is, make sure you drop a comment. Colorado, Colorado. Tomato, tomato. Anyways, it's going to be at Peterson in Colorado. And the next question, of course, on everyone's mind is, will there be a basic training specific to the Space Force? What you guys might not have heard yet is there were actually just 7 enlisted personnel that started Air Force basic training, but they are in the Space Force, not the Air Force. So what's going to happen is they're actually going to attend basic training right alongside airmen, but they're going to be issued tablets loaded with Space Force specific instruction. And of course, they will get some time with some Space Force mentors. But otherwise, for now, Space Force enlistees are going to go to basic training with airmen. And their training is going to closely track the training that the airmen receive. So that's the deal on that for now. Another question people have is, will there be, an academy in the sense that the Army has West Point Academy and the Navy has Annapolis? Well, the answer to that question today is still no. Of course, this could change in the future. But then again, the Air Force is the parent of the Space Force. The Space Force is an outgrowth of the Air Force. So it's likely that people will just continue going to the Air Force Academy if they want to become officers in the Space Force. And the Navy and the Marines do the same thing. If you want to become an officer in the Navy, you go to Annapolis. But if you want to become an officer in the Marine Corps, you do the same thing. So basically, at a certain point in your training at the academy, you just decide, hey, I'm going Marines or I'm going Navy. And that's really what's going to happen with the Air Force and the Space Force moving into the near future anyway. Another thing is the Air Force has decided that yes, it will rename some current Air Force bases to Space Force bases. For those Air Force units that have a space-only mission, guess what? Those bases are going to be renamed and they're going to be Space Force bases. And they haven't announced exactly which bases will be renamed yet. Another thing is SpaceCom versus Space Force. So of course the Space Force organizes and trains, space personnel, and it's headquartered with the other branches at the Pentagon. But SpaceCom, of course, is going to be responsible for overseeing military space operations. And right now, cities and towns are vying to be the home of SpaceCom. So it'll be exciting to see where SpaceCom lands. We're not sure yet, but everyone's putting their bid in. And it's still exciting to know that SpaceCom hasn't found its home yet, but it'll have one soon. And that's really all of the information they've put out about the Space Force so far. Again, if you guys want to join the Space Force or you're just curious about the jobs available in the Space Force, make sure you check out my video on how to join the Space Force. Just don't tell the aliens. We don't want them writing anything down, guys. All right, so don't tell them that video's up. And we'll see how these 7 enlistees feel when they graduate from the Air Force basic training after, having the special tablets with the, Space Force literature downloaded on those tablets. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing I've read is that the Space Force will probably eventually have its own war college. So for those of you that are going the officer track instead of the enlisted track, war college is something you have to graduate from in order to promote to full bird colonel. So I just completed Air War College. And, there's an Army War College and whatnot. So for now, the Space Force does not have its own war college. However, they're going to fold some Space Force doctrine into Air War College in the near future. And then they're thinking eventually the Space Force will also have its very own war college. So stay tuned for more information on the Space Force. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update today. And so that's the information we have so far. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will be back next week with a whole new video all about that military lifestyle.